You're about to listen to an archived episode of The Night Shift with Zeno Hiroman. This is brought to you commercial-free by the Surfcast Podcast. If you're interested in more historical, educational, and entertaining surf fishing content, check out weekly episodes of the Surfcast Podcast available today on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you get your podcasts, including www.surfcastpodcast.com.
All right, guys, it's a new season of Night Fish Podcast. It's my pleasure to have Bill Wetzel on to start it. We're just going to bullshit. There's no schedule. So
there's no schedule?
No, there is no schedule, Bill. And actually, I'm going to start talking about Bill's got into the Arrowhead freaking looking for, what is it, artifacts, Indian artifacts? Is that what it is?
Arrowheads, points.
Yeah.
I can't find any of those. So
I said, Tommy, who was the second half of the SJ, obviously the guy that designs all the gear, is now expert on arrowhead hunting, and I think you should reach out to Tommy and help guide you.
Larry Welcome's got a lot too.
Is he?
Yeah, he's into it. So
yeah,
there's a lot of guys. You know, it's a good winter thing. It keeps you busy.
Yeah,
you're walking on the beach.
With a flask of Maker's Mark or
no. Can't do that.
Yeah. So tonight podcast is just two guys he's got bourbon, I got Hennessy on my side, and it's Friday night. We have a gigantic nor'easter tomorrow. Which, Billy, are you ready? I bet you used to be in a lot of other places. Do you?
I need it.
Yeah.
I need that.
But I mean, when you hear nor'easter, your mind goes different. I was like, I wish this was 2 months ago.
Right. Or May, middle May.
Yeah, you do like the big water in May, don't you?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, I've had so many good days in May, you know?
Yeah.
But then, the last few years, several years, actually, it's been shit.
Yeah.
So.
But you, what do you do in the winter? You ski a lot, right? I remember you bought a condo up in Killington somewhere.
We bought a condo years and years ago.
Yeah, I remember
20 years ago. Now it's all paid off. And my wife, that was kind of a birthday present for my wife, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And it's finally paid off. And, we go up there. It keeps me in shape. I tell you, man, every year, right? Is this true with you? Like my bone, it's just, man, I get stiffer and stiffer. I don't know how much longer I can do this. I said I'd quit guiding at 50. I remember when I was
I remember that conversation. I think we had a bunch of times.
I'm never going to go past 50. And now here I am, 57. I'm still... You know what, Zeno? I'll take out a fucking 22-year-old kid, and at the end of the day, he will be, oh, my God, I'm so sore. I can still do it, man.
I joined the gym on Sunday after 2 years. I went back to the gym. So it's for me, every bone in my muscle in my body hurts this week. And I actually did some crunches, and I didn't realize why my stomach hurt so bad. And I realized why. So, as you get up in age, this shit not getting any easier. Speaking of guiding, though, I mean, what is it? I mean, I know, like you said, your body hurts and all that, but money is great. But you also, like, people don't understand. You work in Hempstead, you drive like 100 miles to Montauk. You guide all night, you burn the gas, you spend the whole night with our family, and you get home. So, money can't be the overriding factor. Plus, your truck seems to break down quite a bit. What is it about guiding that keeps you in a game all the time?
I don't know.
Is it allows you to fish without your wife saying, where are you going?
Well, that's part of it, yeah. That's got to be part of it, I mean, but I don't know, man. I mean, it's... You know what I like? I like getting a new guy out, and he can't fish. He's upside down reeler, and he's never surf fished before, especially a younger guy. Like if he's in his 20s, and it's a big water day, and you get the stance right, you get his finger placement right on the line, and you get this is how you load the rod, this is the spine of the rod, all that stuff. Then he starts casting. And then maybe he catches a little schoolie or something, hopefully, maybe not. But then you get him, then you're in Montauk, and then you get him out on the rocks. And you see his eyes, man. Whoa! And he gets it. And next thing you know, I've had this happen. I mean, I've been guiding now for, what, I don't know, 25 or 26 years.
Yeah, something like that.
And, and then the next thing you know, he's got the Von Style. He's got the high price rod. He's got a wetsuit. He's got more equipment than I do. It's crazy. And then he's basically your customer for life. mean, some guys, I swear, they are excellent fishermen, man. I mean, they are really good fishermen, and they'll just take me out. I don't know. Sometimes I think, like I took Mike Campanelli out once. Like, I'm like, Mike Campanelli? I'm like, Mike, you're fucking like a legend. I mean, how long have I known you? I'm not taking you out. I'm not going to pay. You're not going to pay me to fish. I should pay you to fish. No. I'm going to pay you. He insisted, and it was great, man. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I'm taking out Mike Campanelli out of all people,
To be fair, I still hold the distinction of being the first guy in a wetsuit that you took out.
Oh my God, remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I want to learn the South Side.
Yeah, I was clueless. I really was.
I remember I'm like, how much should I remember thinking, how much should I tell this guy? How much should I don't want to tell him too much, And so we were out on a rock, and we're past Caswell's. We're deeper than Caswell's. Right? Is that right?
Yeah.
And you're on one rock, and I'm like maybe 25 yards to your right? And you say, how do I remember this? I have no fucking idea. But you go, I never caught a fish on a needlefish.
Needlefish, right? Right.
I got all these needlefish. I never caught a fish on a needlefish. I go, I'll put one on. He's like, what color? I think I said yellow. Puts on yellow. Motherfucker, first cast like 25-pound fish. I'm like, oh my God.
Life was so much easier then, wasn't it, Bill?
Oh my God. Telling you.
That was a good time. Give me what is it? Does anything stick out? Like you're talking about these kids that you take out for the first time in Montauk. Any particular story sticks out in your mind? I know you have a million of them.
Oh my God. Guiding. Well, I you know what I get asked all the time? I'm like, you must have a lot of assholes you take out. I go, no, actually, never, ever. I mean, it's so rare that I get, because here's what happens. If you're like, if I find that you're being like asinine to me, I will abuse you, and to the point where I'll just push you to the limit, and then all of a sudden you'll be respectful to me. Like if you're like, oh, I'll take you out on a rock. You'll get smashed by waves. You might fall down and hurt your little knee a little bit, and then you do as I say, So that's how I kind of work those people. But I did have one guy a long time ago. He's probably listening to this, but came out, and this is like when GPS first started. He's like, he tells us, I want to go to at least 6 spots, at least. Yeah, we'll do probably 6 spots. We may do 10 spots. I go, I don't know. It depends how the fishing is. Right.
If it's a good same spot, we're just staying there.
Right. But I mean, I'll move if you want to move. So
right.
He gets there. He's like, well, I like light tackle. I'm going to use an 8-foot rod. Now we're going into fucking Caswell's. I mean, if nobody knows.
8-foot rod. You better get on the lead rock.
So he has this 8-foot light tackle rod. I'm like, no. So I give him my Lamb Glass GSB, and he's kind of all over. I'm like, I want to see you cast. So we walk down into Driftwood. And I'm like, before we go out on the rocks and Caswell's, I want to see you cast. And he's got his like reel on the side. His stance is not right. He's just off. So I'm trying to teach him how to cast and how to use a pencil popper. And he's and this is after he's got his GPS on top of my dashboard. Which, whatever, if you want to use a GPS, I don't give a shit. But it was just kind of weird. I've never seen anybody do that. At that time, the GPSs were like this. So anyway. So I'm teaching him how to cast and teaching him how to use a pencil popper. And he says to me, you may be, what did he say? You may catch a lot of bigger fish than I do, but I know how to fish. I don't need you to teach me how to cast or use a popper. I'm like, well, first of all, it's not a pencil pop. It's not a popper. It's a pencil popper, and you got to use it different. And, he didn't really know how to put it between his legs. And at that point, I remember, I'm like, okay, I was going to turn around and say, this is not going to work out, because it was the GPS. It was this thing. It was that thing. And at the end of the night, I did take him out. My plan was, I'm going to take him out to Caswell's. I'm going to take out the furthest fucking rock I can get out to. Right. And then he's going to get the shit beat out of him. And then he's going to learn. And then I'm going to school him, because I'm going to catch a million fish in the way I'm using the pencil popper. Are you supposed to? He's going to catch nothing. Meanwhile, we didn't catch anything, either one of us. So then later on in the night, I remember I got really fucking dehydrated that night. And we got on the fish on the north side. And we had like one fish after another on needlefish. And I'm like, I started throwing up, man. I'm like, I can't finish the charter. I can't. And I thought he hated my guts. And he wanted to book me like the next day. He called me I couldn't believe it. He called me the next day. He wanted to book. But, that's the only one that really ever sticks out in my mind.
Is that?
I had another guy that that came. He was drunk. He came to me drunk. I'll have to tell you.
I had that when I was guiding. But go ahead.
I have to tell you, like when we're just hanging out, like when I see Montauk Surfcasters Surf Day coming up February 19th.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'll have to tell you the guy. But he comes. When you see a guy, a couple of things. When you see a guy at night, you're meeting them at night, and you don't even know who they are the next day, or you don't know. Like I ask a bunch of questions. Do you have any disabilities or anything? But in this particular case, I noticed that he was having trouble getting on his waders when we first met. He was like kind of all over the place. And then I'm like, well, this is kind of like, I think we were going to do the south side. We met like 1:00 in the morning or something like that. And we get on the north side, and he's got a Z-Boss. And I notice he can't get his finger. He's not getting it on a roll, or he just kind of like, I'm like, you haven't been drinking, right? Or anything else? No. Okay. So then I got right next to him. I smelled alcohol. I'm like, dude, you've been freaking drinking. You're drunk. You're fucking drunk. And he's like, there's no way. And this is like, now it's 2.5 hours into the charter, maybe 3. I'm like, there's no way that I could take you on the south side right now. You can barely even walk. Because you don't know if it's like, this is how he is, or it's his disability. He's freaking drunk. I had no idea. So, that's another one that sticks out. But
that sucks.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with this dehydration thing? Because I was only guiding for 1 year, and really wasn't my thing. I kind of gave up on it. And I had one day where I literally almost end up in a hospital because of back to back charters. And at the time, I was just drinking coffee. I'd had to like 40 cups a day and in like 48 hours and no water. And Vito was like, you gotta get some Gatorade in you. You're spazzing out. My muscles were just shutting down. Like my whole body was shutting down. It was like the craziest thing. I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm in Montauk fishing 48 hours straight without no water. And, I was stupid and young.
You can't do it, man, because the salt is just sucking, everything out of you. I took out actually 2 MDs. I think one was a brain surgeon once, and we walked way back in the south side, and I think we fished all night or something, and it was like 80 something degrees, and we're walking back. I'm drinking plenty of water, and I just broke out into this cold sweat, and they got way ahead of me, which is rare that somebody's walking ahead of me, and I couldn't keep up with them, and then I started getting dizzy. I thought I was going to pass out. I'm like, I just got to keep going. I got up, and it was probably, I've never really passed out my whole life. And I think that was the closest I've ever came. And I got up to the truck, and they said, I said, I almost passed out back there. They're like, you're dehydrated. I said, I've been drinking water. I'm drinking tons of water. You can't drink. They said you can't drink water. You got to drink Gatorade. And ever since, as long as I'm drinking Gatorade, just a little bit. I mean, because
you need electrolytes, right? Right? Yeah, I know. Yeah, the water just goes right through you. It doesn't. Yeah, the water doesn't do much for you. It just it goes right through you.
Right.
Yeah. I had red wine does the same thing for me. Twice I passed out and I had to get away in the middle of the night. Embarrassing thing, but it happened. How do you survive the winter though? Like, what do you do? Like, are you like one of those nutcases that pulls up all your plugs and stuff, or you like me where everything is tangled up right now and just waiting for better days?
The back of my truck is exactly the way I left it. Like the first week of December, there's plugs all over. They're all rusted. I keep on saying, I got to go down to the basement and do this, but you do other things. I got a million reels stacked that high that I got to take into get serviced. Back in the day before I had all VSs, I had a lot of pens, so I would have to.
Right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And but fortunately, I don't have to do that anymore. But
Well, when do you actually get to doing this? Like in the spring? Is it one of those things where the fish are here and you're like, oh shit?
You know what? I'll take 2 days before I really start fishing. and usually do it then. But many times, what usually happens is I'm like, I'll just change them as I go. So like, I'll have a trip. I'm like looking at my bag. I'm like, the first trip, I'm like, oh my God, look at it. I got to do a whole bag of plugs. I got to change every fucking hook that goes into the bag. Is that kind of what you do? I mean, I don't know.
I pull out this thing. I pull out one plug and 55 of them come all together. And I'm like, man, there's not one with the new hooks on this shit. Everything needs to be changed here. Right. So then I just go and I rip a new plug out of the package and I just use that, to start with, because, I don't expect much usually in the spring just to get the cobwebs out.
It's funny. It's all fucked up. But when it comes to actual fishing, it's like everything to me. Everything's got to be perfect, especially if I'm have a paying customer. Like
right, well, obviously, right.
It for me anyway. It's got to be perfect, and the leader has to be changed. I cut back 2 or 3 feet every fucking time, even though it's sprayed. I still do all of that. Like if I'm taking out somebody, I don't care how experienced you are. 99.9% of the time, I will cut off whatever you have on and retie, because if we get a big fish on and it's lost because if it's your knot, then it's my fault. But if it's, you know what I mean? I should have checked it,
No, I get it. But then there's a level of perfection. There's mine where I fish with last year's leader because I don't guide and I feel it's fine. And then there's yours.
What do you
and
fish
then
with?
Last year's leader. Because, the last year's. Yeah, the one left from fall if it's fine. And then you obviously have a paying customer.
Fish with last year's leader. You really fish with last year's leader?
Sometimes in the first few casts in the springs I do, but then there's you, and then there's Steve Campbell. So there's like a lot of level to craziness here.
That interview with Steve Campbell, it was good. It was good for me to hear that, because it was like that didn't reconfirm. It got me motivated to do the thing. Sometimes you at my age, and as long as I do it, you're like, habits. Oh fuck it, I'm not going to do this time.
Yep.
And then you know what? That's not acceptable. It's not. If I start getting like that, it's not acceptable to me. It's never been. But you can get in a funk, and I've been in that funk where fuck it, I'll use the leader this time. It looks good, doesn't have, but I almost always change it. And and after hearing that interview, I was definitely like, I was back on track with that.
I was stunned by a lot of things that he said, but I think the most glaring, not difference, but like the most amazing part is like, I don't think he would ever make a cast unless he expects it to catch a fish. Meaning there's no such a thing as like, let me make a cast, see if there's anything here. He literally expects it. And if he's going to make a cast, everything's going to be perfect, from the sharpness of the hook to the leader to the line. There is no such thing as, half-assed thing, anything.
Didn't he say he kept extra hooks so he could change his hooks?
Yeah. In a little waterproof container on his belt.
That's something I would not do.
Well, don't forget that Steve carried plugs in his bag with no hooks.
Ah, okay.
So he can fit more into the slot. So he can get like 10 needlefish in a 2-inch tube, but then he would put a hooks on it on a rock.
Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, I know, but there's a level of I don't know what you want to call
obsession.
It, preparedness, crazy obsession, but Steve's definitely, I wouldn't say obsession. I think that's just the way his mind works.
Yeah.
I don't think Steve's obsessed. I believe Steve is just Steve. He functions on a different level, and I don't think people should call him supernatural. I think he doesn't know any other way. That to him, this is perfectly normal. Like, why the hell would you make a cast with compromised leader? What about if you hook into a good fish? Now what?
Right.
Shouldn't you just change the leader before? Why are you making that cast at all? Go home.
It's true.
So that makes a lot of sense. What he said actually makes a lot of sense. It's just that I don't think a lot of us can function on that level. I know I cannot. I
tell you what, some people need to start doing more is check their guides, because I can't tell you. Or how about this? They'll come to me, and they'll have a fresh leader, but they drove from like Lindenhurst to Montauk. with on top of the rod rack, all the way. Or, but what you got to do is check your guides all the time. I think, and not. I don't like. I mean, some people say, "Oh, you use a cotton swab." I think cotton swab sucks. You never get the fine little cracks. Take. What I do is take the
line.
Line, yeah, the braided line. Like mono, you couldn't really do it, but braided line, and just go like that around the guide, and you can pick up the hairline crack. You know what I mean?
What do you? I mean, as somebody who's go back to guiding, as somebody who's guiding for a long, long time. I mean, you're probably the one of the most experienced guide ever in the sport. What is the mistake that you see the most? And listen, I'm not talking about novice who doesn't know any better, but what do you find the hardest thing to get through to people?
Contact of the plug. I preach no contact equals no fish.
Right.
Especially, guys, they're used to fishing like maybe a river or like calm nights like the Long Island Sound or streams or whatever. It's easy to maintain contact.
Right. You don't have any waves or anything like that to throw you off.
Right. But if you have like even a little wind, a 15, 20 knot wind in your face.
A little one.
That's a little in Montauk, I mean, a 15 knot wind is like, it's just like standard.
Most people stay home with that kind of wind, but go ahead.
But anyway, and maybe you got like 2 to 3 foot sets or even 3 to 4 foot sets. And, you have to cast over the wave. And when a wave hits that plug, I mean, you have to reel faster so it doesn't get swept. Or I mean, if you don't feel the plug, you're not going to catch any fish because the plug isn't working. So that is probably one of the hardest things to do for people who haven't fished, water like Montauk or water like, that kind of water that we have there. Because, it's very shallow there. It's, it's not the only place I fish, but it's very shallow there and it almost always has waves.
But that alone, like what you just said about Montauk, it's not only related to Montauk. I find that like when you fish the South Shore, if you have an offshore bar and you're working a needlefish, which is probably my first plug at night, you're trying to get through the bar on a trough or in a cut, and it's usually going to get caught up in those waves. And you're going to lose it for a second or two if you don't either, what you said, speed up the retrieve or even let go sometimes. And that is generally the time where you're going to get the hit because that's the most turbulent part of the wave. So if you're not in a contact at that time, you're really kind of losing 90% of your chances of catching fish.
Right.
And a bucktail's the same thing. Bucktail's even worse because bucktail you'll throw in shit water. You'll throw it where you can barely stay in contact with it.
Yeah, sometimes you're fishing like, especially even if it's smaller water, like 2 to 3 feet. But I mean, if you're fishing like the nor'easters, like 40, 50 knot winds, I mean, you make that cast. I mean, you're just reeling it as fast as you can to get that initial contact. And then you're putting your rod, and then you're putting your rod tip all the way down practically to the water so the wind doesn't catch your line, and that's all the way in, so. Well,
in situations like that, I find that the key is to get the line on a roller first, because if you don't do that, you're screwing up everybody around you. You have no chance to catch a fish at all.
Right. Well, hopefully you don't have big neoprene gloves on because then it's a real bitch.
Yeah. Speaking of Northeast, like, how was this fall in Montauk for you? Like, what is this? I know I'm not going to ask you to compare it to anything. I'm going to ask you, how was it?
I've been fishing Montauk now since 1984. So
right.
My best year was 91, and the 90s were great. So if you compare this year, no, you don't want me to compare.
I don't want to compare with anything.
But whatever. It's the only way in my head. So this year, as compared to all the rest of the years, not the year, but the fall, I would say was an average. We had some excellent nights this year. Yeah. It was better than last year, and it was better than the year before, the fall.
Okay.
However, the spring sucked. The spring was like, oh my God. I mean, it was one of the worst springs ever. So, I mean, it's weird. I mean, June used to be, maybe next year it will be. June was one of the best, most consistent months, of the whole year. Now it's kind of like I would say September, October. The last
And
few
even
years.
and even I mean you I'm not going to say that you made your reputation, but I know that you love fishing August with eels. That was for many years your thing, and now basically you're shark fishing, right?
I mean, well, August has changed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the snappers. I'm big on water temperatures, and I've been taking water temperatures with a pool thermometer since I've been out there, and
Right.
Essentially the water temperatures, at least in Montauk, haven't changed. Like in August, you'll say at the beginning of August it'd be like 73 degrees, and it might get up to 78 sometimes, but around 75 it'll peak out. And for years, we would have the snappers come in at the beginning of August, the first moon of August. That's what I mean. If you read, like, if you go in like the Surf Rats Ball, I probably did an article, I don't know, for like Surfcast Journal or something at some point. I often refer to that first moon of August being when the snappers first came in on the spearing. Now it really is like the last moon of August into September when the snappers come in. So that August bite is not what it used to be. Now patterns have changed. Now there's a good July bite out there, but it's a bunker bite. So which is, with the snappers, it was way easier to find the pattern. With the bunker, it's really impossible. You just gotta fucking fish hard.
Because I remember that a few years ago when we had a bunker from Montauk all the way down to like Robert Moses for like 100 miles of bunker and no fish on him. That was like the most frustrating fall I've ever seen, and they were so thick and nothing was on him other than whales.
Remember when the bunker really started in July was when Toad, he was fishing the sand beaches. Remember those days?
That was shad, though. There wasn't bunker.
Huh?
That was shad.
It was shad, but there was bunker there too.
I'm sure there was, but that was a big shad when he was doing the big fish and thins, and then everybody was buying the big heavy pencil poppers and thins.
That was shad, but there was bunker there too.
And you were getting fish on the end of the cast on the first 2-3 cranks.
Yeah.
And then Alberto actually took me out that night. I remember I had a surgery on my back, or I had a cyst removed or something like that, and I drove Alberto we were out, and I mean, literally, he stood in a car and he's like, now it's time to cast. And I was fishing for like hours. I got shit. And I lost like 4 sinkers. We were fishing bait. There was like a rock pile over there. Remember that got exposed over there by gurneys? Yeah. And Alberto took a fish at 30, 40 pounds, like on the first cast. And I was like, yeah. He constantly amazes me with his ability to read the shit for.
And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, it's just the funny thing about that whole story is that I picked up Alberto he lived in Lindenhurst at the time. I think he was still married. And I had a surgery on my ass or cyst or whatever up on my back.
Oh, I had that same thing, man.
Yeah, and I couldn't drive. But he's like, I fished the last 3 nights. I haven't slept, so you have to drive. So I literally drove on one ass cheek all the way to Montauk for like 3 hours. And we get to Montauk, we go to air down, and I pull up off the road. Those days I had an off-road permit, and we had a flat tire. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So we go to the gas station, and I'm underneath my car trying to lower my tire underneath my Explorer, which was hanging underneath the car, on a butterfly clamp. But I didn't know that butterfly clamp that you have to go with like a thing and you put it inside and you spin it and it drops. So I'm out there turning the butterfly clamp with my hand 1,000 times and wheel's not moving. Alberto's laughing his ass off. He's like, my flashlight's going to die. I'm bleeding out of my ass. I'm like, really? This is what I chose to do tonight? And this was the night. I mean, he really crushed the fish. I had some fish, but he really.
I got Alberto. I got an Alberto story for you. Kind of similar. So, no, not really similar, but. One night, I saw Alberto in Montauk once in a while, but he happened to be there this night. And I think it was like, it might have been at night. I can't remember. It was at dusk. I had my own, I don't know if you remember it, but I had a Tahoe, a green Tahoe at the time. It's like a 96 Tahoe. So I'm coming around false bar into Clark's Cove. You know how it just kind of winds around in there? And as soon as I hit the sand, I get fucking stuck. I got a customer in my car. I'm like, shit. Why am I stuck? I'm air down, but I don't know what's going on. So me and my customer are trying to dig myself out for like 20 minutes. Alberto comes along. He's like, oh, I'll help you. So we're all digging the Tahoe out, right? I swear, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, we can't get the fucking thing out, right? I get in the car. I look, and it's in two-wheel drive.
Man, I was going to ask if it was in four-wheel drive.
I popped it in four-wheel drive, and I popped right out. I didn't tell Alberto.
Well,
so years
obviously,
later, I never told my customer, and years later I told him. I'm like, remember that time?
That is not something you want to admit to no one at that night after you've been digging for half an hour.
Oh my God!
Do you do shows in the wintertime? I mean, is this you do a lot of seminars and stuff? I mean, obviously, COVID has killed us all.
Yeah,
we haven't done a show. Tommy and I actually went last week and 2 weeks ago to Rhode Island to do a little Narragansett Surfcast, which was great because I really haven't spent any time with Tommy, and we got to drive 3 hours there and 3 hours back, and we shit bullshit in the car, and the show was great. So it was just nice to be at the show, and I'm really looking forward to doing shows. First one coming up, I think it's MSA Surf Day, right? Which was 19th of February.
Yep.
Yeah, which is coming up.
I'm going to be doing that one. And
are you doing seminars?
I'm gonna do a seminar. I'm not gonna have a booth. Okay. I just kind of want to sit there with a booth, and I got a family with the COVID and everything. I'm like, I'll just do a seminar. And then I have another seminar. I haven't really discussed it with them but they said I'm in at the what's the school? What's that one?
Oh, Ward Melville.
Ward Melville. Yeah.
They announced that they're going to have a show. I think it's like March 5th. I'm not sure.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm going to do
that.
It's
a great show. That's he said they only allow 1,000 people at the time. That only goes to show you how big a show it is. Yeah, I think it's 10,000 plus people go to that show. Yeah, it's a big family show. Yeah, it's a.
Yeah, they do a great job.
They do, and it's all for the kids. It's beautiful. It really is.
Yeah.
Tell me the seminars, like when you do the seminars in the wintertime. Like, I know you don't do it for money because I've done it for years. Money is not the reason why I ever done it. It's not worth it that time. But what do you get out of it? Do you get out of like teaching people, or do you want are you like, I don't know, looking for some kind of celebrity?
There's obviously a promotional aspect of it.
Customers,
customers. I've been doing this for so long. I'm booked, So, but the Surf Rats Ball, the website, I try to plug the website hard.
Yeah.
It's something I work my ass off on, and I really love it. So I do it for that. I also do it because I just like mingling with people, and and maybe I'll tell them how I fish, and I'll learn a lot from them too. They'll say, especially afterwards, they'll come up to me. Well, I tried this. I'll give you a story. Somebody said, I was this is way back. I used to use like 50-pound test mono because that's what we all did for leaders.
Yeah.
And somebody said, well, you should try 80. I'm like, really, 80? He's like, yeah, it's not bad tying, and it's 80 for a leader. And it's easier to lift the fish up with. I'm like, really? I've been using 80 ever since. Just like a little thing.
I do too. Yeah.
You use 80.
Yeah, I use 80. Yeah, because I think 60 is too thin. I can use 80. 100 is a little bit too hard, but 80 is fine.
The only problem with 80 is when it's cold out.
Yeah, well, that's hard.
The memory is like, oh my God.
on the line, but you remember where you started from, where you used to leave cards at Wall Street.
Oh my God! You remind me of that, huh?
I do. I want to hear that one.
Well, when I first started, the first year I was guiding. I think it was 96 or something. But I had 7 customers the entire year. I had my little ad in the Fisherman, and so I went to Wall Street with my khakis and khaki shirt on. And I had these black and white brochures, and I'm like, well, I probably could get a lot of customers if I go down to Wall Street. So I took a day off of my regular job, and I'm handing out brochures to all the guys coming out of Wall Street. They're handing lunch. They're having lunch with their suit and ties. I'm in my little khakis, giving them my brochures. I didn't get one. Not anybody called me back on that. I spent the whole day in New York City doing that. I didn't know how to get customers. I'm like, oh, I remember Fred Galafaro, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
He was like, he told me, oh, just keep at it. You're going to get so many customers. It's going to be, But
you work hard. To be fair, this is a lifetime of work that you put in. This is not, somebody flashing a pan, a quart of fish and wanted to be a guide.
No.
You put a lot of work in. Most of your customers are, to be fair, repeat customers.
Oh, yeah. I would say, I don't know, a good 85% of them are repeats. And I've had some of them since, many, many years. I'm taking out Mark DeAngelis. He still holds the record of the biggest fish.
Yeah, that's a beautiful picture, too. That's a beautiful picture. Yeah, now, let me ask you something. How does your website play into this? Not necessarily in a customer acquisition part, but like, what is it about your website that is different than others? What is it? Surfratsball.com, right?
Yeah, surfratsball.com. Okay. You're on it, so
yes, I am.
Yep. And a lot, I feel like it's a lot of really, really good fishermen, and there's novice fishermen as well. And I don't have any sponsors, and I've been offered sponsorship, but I've never taken it. So, and the reason I don't take it is because of the website, because you can say what you want to say on the site. If you think something sucks, as long as you give the reason for it, then say it sucks, but give a reason for it, So there's that. And, we got the tournament coming up. So the tournament is the June tournament. It was, as far as I know, it was the first catch and release first surf casting tournament that made catch and release possible. So, and we've been doing that since, I don't know, on my Instagram, I just put it, I want to say 2005. So, and all the proceeds for that tournament go to Kids Need More. So kids with like terminal illness and everything. And last year, we never hit the $10,000 mark. And last year, finally, after all these years, we raised over $10,000, $12,000. So, because we have the tournament and then we have the big barbecue afterwards.
Exactly. You have the celebration and awards kind of thing.
And a fucking crazy raffle.
Yeah. Yeah, and a crazy raffle which raised all
goes on forever. The raffle is like killer, man. And killer food, ribs we have. The public's invited. It's it's just.
But you also that is one of the benefits of being a member of Surf Rats Ball. But the other one is you get access to your log. Like every time you go fishing,
that too, yeah.
You get to read the next day what you did.
That log goes back to 2002, but
yeah.
I have logs that go back to like 1980 something. I can't fucking find them. I've looked in the basement. I've looked everywhere. Where are my logs? That's what I want to know. When I used to fish I grew up originally in Ohio, but then we moved to Bayville.
Bayville, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I got logs to Old Man Sandworm's house, and I used to sneak around all the houses and everything, and the Bayville Bridge, and. First time I went out to Montauk, like, man, I wish I hope they didn't get thrown away, because that's what I think.
I hope you find them. But again, the surfratsball.com, it's a great website. It's basically a forum where you get Bill's attention. You can ask him whatever you want, but that's just a lot of guys on it who just have this honest conversation where he's not really limited to any sponsors or any brand or any, basically it's just a good conversation. I always enjoy going there. Speaking of something that's you've been known for, well, I've known you for a long time, but I haven't heard you talking about it in years. You remember when you were obsessed with Bob Hahn's plugs?
Bob Hahn. Zeno, I tell you, when you throw a Bob Hahn plug, you have got to scream his name.
I remember
I make that mandatory for my customers. I'm like, you're not casting a fucking plug. You have to scream his name. And they'll cast it. I'm like, no. You have got, it's like a thing, you got to do it.
It's like a religion.
It's got to do it. Bob Hahn.
Why did you like Bob Hahn plug? They were like potato chips.
Dude, but they fucking caught fish, did they not?
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Maybe they didn't cast well, but they swam like a mother effer. They'd have no paint, all the paint would be chipped off.
I know.
And they had, I love the eyes you put on them. And, I mean, they just always catch fish, you know?
It's almost like you use them like years before these metal lifts became popular, you know, today, whatever that is, there's a billion of them. I can't even count them.
Today is like, you know, I think the plug, what's that? Plug, Ross?
I don't know. There's so many of them.
No. The guy
Plugaholic, Russ Bassdozer. Russ Bassdozer.
Right, Russ Bassdozer. I think when that came out, when he put that out, it opened up the doors for like everybody was studying that.
Yeah, I know. That was cool. That was on bassdozer.com or whatever.
Right.
Russ Corneau, he was part of the campus crew.
Yeah.
He was part of the campus crew,
just incredible information on there.
Yes,
like I didn't know half of that stuff he was saying.
No. And Musso and Donnie and Danny and all that shit and you know all the swimming plugs. I thought that was like one of the best reads or write-ups ever on plug.
Ever.
I mean,
ever.
Ever. I mean, if you guys get a chance to take a look at, I think it's Bassdozer.
Bassdozer, right? Yep.
Yeah, plugology or whatever it was. It was like the craziest thing. You know, where do you start in spring? What do you? So now through the winter, you did the shows. You like educating people. You're skiing in. You're enjoying your Maker's Mark. What do you do in the spring? Where do you start?
Well, I mean, for years and years and years, I was like, I mean, everybody's obviously now they're going to Staten Island, they're going to Jersey, they're getting the bigger fish.
Oh, the Raritan Bay does have a nice bite last few years. I have to admit that. Early bite. Yeah.
So, I mean, my thing was for many, many years, I like to be, I always wanted to be like the first to catch a fish in like a certain area that I know of, like in Bayville. And even after I moved out of Bayville for years until probably about 10 years ago, I would go to Bayville and I wanted to be the first to catch a fish, not under the bridge fish, either the Sound or the back bays. And the earliest I ever did was April 6th back there. April 6th.
That's pretty early.
So, yeah. I mean, even if it's a schoolie, I really didn't give a shit. I just wanted to, but the goal was to be the first. You know, yeah, you can go for the bigger fish and you can travel. But, you know, I like to go west to Hempstead Harbor. You know, I do all that, you know, in the early spring. But I generally, even though I say I'm going to do it every year, I don't do the Staten Island thing. I don't travel to New Jersey because you know why? Because I don't want to get burned out, man. You know, you can.
It's a long season.
It's a long season. I'm fishing. You know, I'm still almost fishing the 40 hours a week almost. I mean, it's over 40 when you figure out all the driving and everything. I mean, Jesus Christ. I mean, it's.
What do you look for? What do you look for in the spring? What's the reason why you go to a certain spot?
Tides. Everything's on tides. You know, like if I'm fishing the North Shore, I'll generally want like south winds because the North Shore at that time of year, a north wind will chop everything up. And striped bass, they're cold blooded, so. You know, their body temperatures or whatever the water temperatures are, and they're not going to fight that time of year, choppy, nasty water, right? So they're going to want those flat nights, especially that time of year where the water. And
you're gonna get a lot of that in the spring where you get that really cold front, which is really a miserable night, and it's really never a good fishing either.
Right. Well, yeah, most of the time. I mean, I've had cold, rainy nights where it's flat, calm, in early April in Hempstead Harbor, where I've done pretty good. You know, in general, I'm not catching the bigger fish though. You know, I'm not really going for them either. I'm not throwing the bigger plugs. I'm not throwing the bunker chunks. A lot of guys will throw bunker chunks out there and they'll get bigger fish. You know, I'm really just going for fish at that time of year. You know, and once in a while I'll get a nice fish. You know, it's for me that time of year. I just want to start getting my stuff wet. Start getting my body used to everything again because, you know, pretty soon in the next couple of weeks, all my gear's got to be top notch and my body's got to be enough in shape where I can, you know, make the drives out to Montauk, take people out for 5 hours and drive home and work the next day. You know what I mean? So
I remember few years ago, we were on Little Neck Bay. We were on a bite of, you know, standard fish, whatever it was. And Ray said, "Hey, I want to go fishing." I says, "Why don't you come to Little Neck Bay? There's no fish in Mauritius yet." And I made a rookie mistake of saying, I'm not going to put a jacket on. I'm just going to put a belt on. I'm fine. I've never fell. I fall
Oh, my God.
within 5 minutes. Water rushes in my waders. Now my pants are wet. My whole body's wet, and it's like 34 degrees.
How long ago was that, Zeno?
It was a few years ago.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, oh no! Oh yeah!
You should know better than that.
Well, I should have, but
fuck?
I did not take a jacket, and I was like, oh, my belt's gonna be fine. And I had like a Old Navy, I remember, like a wool thing, and the thing was soaked. And after 5 minutes, I was like, Ray, I'm gonna get hypothermia. I'm not going to make it. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done. So that goes to show you that doesn't matter. The age is no reason, to be any smarter. We still do stupid things.
How's Ray doing?
He's good. Ray is out in Ohio in the wintertime.
Ohio, we're at in Ohio.
I'm sorry, not Ohio. Why did I say Ohio? Jesus Christ, you're from Ohio. That's why. No, he's out in, where is Eastman College? What is that? Oh Lord, I was there with my daughter. It's a 7-hour drive. Rochester.
Oh, Rochester. Okay.
Rochester's grandson. So he's raising his grandson with his daughters, and then it'll be here in the spring and fish.
I really enjoyed fishing with him when we were out.
Oh yeah, Ray's a great guy. Yeah, Ray's
fishing with him.
He was
My guy left
a lot of fun.
I'm like, you want to go out?
Yeah.
You know that story about the color, right? About the color of the night. So Ray, me and Ray, we went fishing, and so we're wetsuiting the inlet out there. We caught a couple schoolies. And that night, I'm like, well, this is where I saw all the, I think it was shad.
Shad, on the
shad was in there. I'm
barges,
like, let's do, there was an edge of bubbleweed. I'm like, let's do that bubbleweed at the of the first of the out. We're both in. Yeah, we both agreed. So right when the fucking side starts moving, I bang, I get this good fish on, just peel out drag. And then I catch the 42 or 43, whatever the fuck it was, a big fish. And then I have another big fish on. And then I have like, I don't remember, like a 20-something. And then another fish. I'm like, Ray. And Ray's right next to me. He's throwing a yellow super strike darter. I have black and gold. I'm like, Ray, it's the color. No, it's not the fucking color. It's not the color. And eventually he went to the black and gold. And as soon as he put on the black and gold, whack. I mean, who said it? Dave Anderson? It only matters when it matters. And that night, the black and gold matters. And
it never matters till it matters.
He wouldn't take. He didn't have a black and gold, but he wouldn't take.
Ray is the most stubborn human being on the face of this earth.
Oh, he took it after he saw a couple more big fish.
The other story about Ray is a Cuddy Hunk also. This was maybe even the same trip. No, it was another year. Ray and I were there. I had to leave, and Tommy came the next day. And Ray and I on the rock, and I'm throwing rig deals. And we're sharing the rock in a high fly at a big rock for the 2-man rock. And I took, I think, 6 fish over 40 that night, or 30, or so, whatever it was. It was like probably one of the best nights that I had in my life.
I mean, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, and Ray took pictures, right? And he refused to take my rig deal. He's like, I am going to bang this fish on the plug. He never had a bump the whole night. He never had a touch the whole night. While I had a bunch of smaller fish, and I think these 6 fish were all with 30 or 40 pounds, whatever they were. I have it written down somewhere. And then I left the next day, and him and Tommy got on the same rock. And Ray's like, all right, whatever, I'm giving up. I took the eel first cast. The GSB was bent all the way to the reel. I mean, I saw the picture. The fish was massive.
That's
Unfortunately,
awesome,
he never landed the fish. But Ray can definitely be like that. He's an awesome guy to fish with.
He's fun to fish with. I mean, he knows his shit. He does. As soon as I met him, I'm like, this guy's a fucking fisherman.
Yeah.
Well,
so are you, and I thank you for joining me. And now you can go watch your what? What are you watching
Gold
tonight?
Rush.
Gold Rush on Discovery Channel. Yeah. He's watching people looking for gold, and I'm going to go and pour another drink, and we're going to start this first season of Night Shift Podcast. And my favorite guest, who we're going to have again over and over, because we all love Bill.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it, Zeno. And keep doing up the good work, man, with the Surfcast.
Don't forget to go to surfratsball.com and Bill's website, and you have the whole thing over there, and you have his post every time he goes fishing, and join and check it out and see Bill at the shows.